Young Thug has reportedly filed a $10 million defamation lawsuit against Gunna after a private attempt at reconciliation was answered with silence, and what started as an olive branch apparently turned into a legal grenade. This is how a brotherhood that built an empire together suddenly exploded into one of the most personal courtroom dramas hip-hop has seen. From the outside, their story looked simple. Mentor and protégé, Atlanta's sons who rose together, shared stages and streams, and turned mutual loyalty into chart-topping success. For years, Young Thug carried a torch, a visionary who opened doors, and Gunna walked through them, trading lessons for hooks, strategy for chemistry. That origin story made their bond feel unbreakable to fans. The YSL family was more than a brand, it was a legacy. So when the rumbles of legal trouble started shaking Atlanta, nobody expected the crack to go all the way down the middle. Please do not forget to like this video, share and subscribe to this channel if you want more updates like this. Thank you. Now, let's get back into the video. According to the narrative now ricocheting across timelines, everything pivoted after the most intimate of gestures. Young Thug attempted to reach out, to mend fences, to offer an apology, not for headlines, but for the messy human business of friends caught in public catastrophe. The outreach was quiet, personal, the kind of thing that's supposed to settle storms between people who have history. Instead of an answer, the outreach was met with stubborn silence. That silence, friends say, cut deeper than any diss because it stripped away the one thing Thug had always believed in, the reciprocity of loyalty. When the silence refused to break, the story goes, Young Thug's reaction was shockingly simple and brutally direct. Okay, I'll make you pay. And so the multi-million-dollar suit was filed. The complaint, at least as it's been described to close observers, frames the silence not as neutral absence, but as an actionable form of damage. The suit reportedly alleges that through selective interviews, veiled lyrics, and strategic public posture, Gunna allowed a narrative to calcify that cast Thug in a darker, more culpable light during the YSL legal maelstrom. Where one man might view silence as self-preservation, Thug's camp reads as consent to a particular story. That Thug orchestrated wrongdoing while others were victims. $10 million becomes, in that legal framing, both a punitive sum and a symbolic demand. Compensate me for reputational hits, lost deals, an emotional toll of feeling abandoned publicly by someone you once brought into the world. Legally and culturally, this is a fascinating pivot. Defamation law traditionally focuses on words, lies told, statements made. But Thug's case, if pursued on these terms, is leaning into a thornier argument. Can a deliberate withholding of context, the purposeful creation of public silence, amount to defamation when it enables a false public impression? If a court accepts that silence can be weaponized in this way, artists may suddenly have to plan not only what they say on a record, but what they refuse to say in public. For an industry that prizes cryptic bars and the art of insinuation, that's seismic. The lawsuit is also rawly human. It didn't grow from boardroom calculus. It grew from ego and emotion. People close to the situation describe Young Thug's apology as sincere, a plea to reframe narratives privately, and that emotional olive branch rebuffed became the match. There's an old rhythm in rap stories. Mentorship leads to success, which leads to friction. But this iteration turns mentorship into legal stakeholding. If Gunna's silence was meant to be tactical, a way to rebuild without reigniting a scandal, Thug's legal move reframes it as cowardice or worse, a betrayal that cost a man his career. As you'd expect, the public reaction split fast. Social feeds filled with hot takes. Some fans blasted Gunna for abandoning father figure. Others called the lawsuit a power move from someone trying to reclaim headlines while confined by court dates and bail conditions. Memes do what they always do. Turn a charged moment into shareable sound bites, while influencers stitch the most dramatic lines into commentary videos that guarantee clicks. Meanwhile, Atlanta's inner circle began to shift uncomfortably. A community built on collaboration and mutual backpats now has to navigate a courtroom dividing line, and players who once flexed friendships on features now weigh how a public stance might damage long-term alliances. Industry lawyers are already parsing the likely strategies. Expect Gunna's defense to lean on free speech and artistic license, arguing that lyrics, interviews, and silences are protected expressions or at worst ambiguous opinions that don't meet the strict legal standard for defamation. Thug's side will need to show actual harms. Demonstrable lost deals, measurable business declines, and statements or orchestrated narratives that went beyond art into assertion. The challenge for both camps is that hip-hop is a genre built on metaphor. Proving intent or falsity in the swirl of doublespeak will be messy. Depositions can get personal fast. And the moment this story moves from headlines to court filings, every pass message, DM, and unguarded remark becomes evidence. There's tactical theater in this move. 2. Some insiders whisper that Young Thug's team didn't expect a clean legal victory as much as a PR win. Coerce Gunna into speaking, force him to break the silence on record, and let the cameras catch the fallout. If the aim is to extract acknowledgement rather than cash, the $10 million price tag becomes a bargaining chip to reopen a conversation that silence had sealed. That's a playbook straight from the world of negotiation. Make a demand so high it incentivizes a settlement, and the real objective becomes a moral victory of being vindicated publicly. If that's the calculus, then money is merely the language of leverage, not the final sentence. But for all the strategy, there's collateral damage. The Atlanta scene is small and reputations are evergreen. Once people start picking sides, the ripple effects take months or years to smooth over. Sponsors may pause deals. Collab offers could evaporate. And the sonic chemistry that once made both artists profitable may corrode under the weight of subpoenas and public testimony. Beyond the business metrics, there's a cultural cost. Fans who love the duo's chemistry have to reconcile that the intimacy of mentorship can be weaponized legally, turning private slights into multi-page grievances. That shift changes how audiences interpret future music. A swear or a subtle line could be read not as clever misdirection, but as the prelude to litigation. And then there's the theater quote itself. Okay, I'll make you pay. It's the kind of thing that becomes legend irrespective of courtroom outcomes. That phrase, true or dramatized, frames this as not just a legal dispute, but vendetta. Hip-hop's canon is full of lines that outlive their moment. They echo in tweets, in track titles, and in late-night beef breakdowns. If the phrase gains traction, it could be the hook that keeps this story in the culture, even if the suit settles quietly. The legal documents will matter to judges, but sound bites will matter to consumers. And that duality is what makes this more than a civil suit. It's a narrative that feeds itself.